Hey guys, I'm Vanilli, and I thought that I might as well go and do a little bit of a rant. I've been pacing around in my room just thinking about, like, maybe I should go and put some of these thoughts to paper, or at least, like, put it on Audacity. um, I was thinking about the way of how people reject theism. People reject Christianity under the sort of blanket terminology of, like, oh, well, I was raised by Christians and I didn't like the way of how they were saying the fact that I won't be loved or whatever. Like, I'm talking about people that are in the LGBTQ. Um, and that there's maybe some things that they then ascribe to the rest of the faith. One thing that I will go and set forward, that is a very important thing, is that God does love you. God is good. And when I see people say, like, oh, God is terrible because, like, this was a thing that God said, like, to people to share discomfort with people that are queer. And I think that that is hogwash. I think that that is something that it's important to look deep from within and understand the fact that there are bad actors. Sure, like there are very bad actors in all faith, but there are also very good actors too. And that it's so freaking important to look on the bright side of things and see the fact that people don't want to genuinely hurt you. People want to help each other. I love communities where, like, it's all shaped. Like, for instance, I went through Tennessee one time and I saw a small town community. Like, I think, I was at a Whataburger, and someone that I was in the car with went over a speed hump, like, in the parking lot, and there were people that showed up that were just like, hey, what's going on? You guys need any help? Like, they saw the fact that we were struggling and they wanted to offer their help because that's just a good thing to do. I think it's good to have these sort of morals. I think that it's a fantastic thing to want to work together with your fellow man rather than just ignore them away and do what you can to help. And if that's guided by faith, then that's not a bad thing in any sort of way. That you help your fellow man and that you are there for them. And that means that you have good morals, that you have a good understanding of the world that is around you. And that I think that there can be bad actors, like, for instance, when we're talking about atheism. I think that atheists are, because I used to be that way. I used to be atheist where I was like, I'm against theism just in general, but, like, I warmed up to it and I became more spiritually curious because it's like, yeah, of course there are things that are negative. Like, I saw a lot of things talking about talking about people that are power abusing, that are in religion, and also looking at the way of how people automatically say all these negative things about Christians. And I think that it is kind of misguided. I think that there are ways to improve the image of being Christian, even though that there isn't much that you would need to go and do, which is just you look at the communities that do good for people, and even if they put a little bit of Christian flair on it, that's okay. That's not a bad thing. I think that it's fine. And saying, like, I denounce all religion because I had a negative experience with organized religion. Did you know that you can still believe in God and you can still be secular? Or maybe I'm using the word incorrectly. I'm not entirely sure if I'm using that word correctly. I don't have the word pulled up in front of me. But point is, that that you can be faithful and not necessarily involve yourself with organized religion, because you're probably going to have disagreements. You're probably going to have all sorts of different things where, like, people that get into theism want there to be an answer to a question that they don't necessarily have the answer to. And I think that that's a noble thing. I think that that is a very, very good thing to have, to talk about it constructively, to analyze, like, this is the way of how things are. I don't know. I recently have started to look a little bit more inward and understand the fact that I'm a cosmological person. Like, I would consider myself a cosmologician. The cosmologician. Where it's the belief about the fact that there's mass before the Big Bang, and then it exploded with the Big Bang, expanding everywhere, and that was the only matter in the universe up until that explosion. So technically everything is made from the same sort of stuff that was originally there, and I believe that that would be God. I believe that that would be something that is worthy of worship, because it's like, you know, it's literally where we come from, where we fall, and everything. So I would say it's also like a pagan curious sort of belief. I think that it's important to look at how you lived and how you will die. Know that Mother Nature does not dislike you. There's no such thing as Mother Nature disliking you. But you can appease Mother Nature in great ways. Like, for instance, by taking care of animals, by taking care of plants in your overall community. Like, you are doing a service to the planet by making it so that these things do exist. And of course, there's going to be a devil's advocate of just like, well, I mean, farm animals are a negative thing because we abuse them. Okay. I think that farm animals in the wrong hands can be used for a lot of evil. For instance, the beakless chickens and the pigs that have half of their tail cut off and not the full thing, so that it's still like a nerve ending and whatnot. I think that those are legitimately evil. I think that those are things that go against Mother Nature, but Mother Nature does not punish you directly through that. You are worshiping and you are acknowledging the power of Mother Nature simply by taking care of your plants and living off of the sustenance, because you are working together towards the goal of, like, you know, both doing your part. You are doing your part by taking care of them and then consuming what they produce. That is their gift to you. And that is also a gift from nature to give it to you, because, like, we were all created by Mother Nature, and we will return to Mother Nature at the end of our lives. We can get whatever we want attached to ourselves because they are still made of the same matter that was created in the Big Bang. We have no ability to create matter. We have no ability to create quarks, which eventually create, you know, electrons, neutrons, I don't remember the rest. I just know, like, basic understandings, but looking at it that way, I think that it is so freaking important to just acknowledge when people are being theistic, that they enjoy talking about what they want to talk about, and just be there as a listening ear. Even if you don't like the piety of what they are saying, they are giving a purpose to what they are saying. Like, an answer to any question that you don't have the answer to. If you are a theist, you say that it is up to God, and that you say that anything that is lower than God, but is still an unexplained phenomena, is magic. We would consider smartphones, tablets, computers, my microphone that I'm using right now to go and talk to you guys, as magic, like around hundreds of years ago. You don't even have to go back that far. It's where this is kind of a far-flung concept from the first Greek computers that were created by philosophers that were just like abacuses to sort information, to think about things in that constructive way, and eventually that they would go and create a device that would perform all of these different activities and be able to compute on its own through the harnessing of electricity, which is the closest thing that we have to magic. We don't really fully understand how electricity works. We know how to use it, though, and we know how to make it so that it is able to be used for a good purpose, that we find ways to live with it in our society. We know that it's an energy exchange. We can explain all sorts of different things scientifically. And a thing that, like, if someone is still going to be confused about things that I have said, just know this, that a Catholic priest has discovered the Big Bang. Lemaitre discovered the Big Bang. And to say that theology and science have to be at ends with one another, no, that's only for specific denominations of Christianity, because all of the rest of the Abrahamic religions, like, they completely are just for science. They know that science is a very important part to it. Even Islam, people would think that it's just like, oh no, not Islam. No, they believe that it is where I'm not Islam. I don't have many friends that are Islam. But I do know that science is a very, very important, integral thing. I know that people have Islamophobia. They don't like brown people, but, like, it's an important thing. Judaism is also this way, too. You can work together with science when you are a theist. You can find all these ways. Like, a theist can be a theorist. Know what I mean? People can be a philosopher, yet also be religious. You can look at the intricacies of the way of how things are written in the Bible, and you can look at the ways of how it is actually interpreted by people. You could say that people are being heretics because of the fact that they don't follow all of the different guidelines that are set before them by the religion, but it's kind of like it's kind of a dumb answer, because faith is what you make of it. If they're finding excuses to use the text of the Bible specifically to say that, like, you know, gay people are bad, it's where, like, straight people give birth to gay children and also give birth to, like, trans children too. It's not an exclusive thing. It's something that I've heard hypotheticals about where it's just like, you know, or if you have a community that's, like, very, very strict about it, like, no, there's no such thing as a strict community that is completely against, like, reproducing and whatever, and that they'll eventually die off. There's never going to be more than a 1%. Well, there's never going to be less than at least 1% or 3% or something of gay people in a population. That is something that comes with the territory. It's something that we have to deal with as a society. I am a firm believer, and also know that I believe the science on that sexuality is not something that is influenced socially. But anyway, I'm on a tangent. But it was talking about trans people being anti-religious and whatnot, so I guess it does kind of apply here. I am just rambling. This is unedited. I think that it's just an important talk to go and have. I think that I want to have discussions about it. I want to have legitimate, like, good-hearted things to go and say in the comments section below. feel free to talk about these things. Let's have an academic discourse. Let's like actually try to understand a lot of these different things. I think that it's important to look at things beyond the negative, because you're making assumptions the same way of how they make assumptions about you. Like, you think that there's only bad actors in Christianity. Well, they think that there's only bad actors in LGBTQ, like specifically with trans people. They think that there's only bad actors because they don't understand them, because it's also a case of that trans people sometimes don't even fucking understand it themselves. Pardon my language. And that's all part of the experience of understanding literally where you are, and you want to be outspoken, and you want to talk about things, and you want to just like, be pathological, talk about things in a way that it's just like, this is how it affects me as a person. You do not have to say to people your pathological connection to an argument. You could just say your argument, and it's like, they can make that judgment on if it's pathological or not, which usually it is. If it's something that's not based in science, and if you are disagreeing with scientific institutions that we have trusted for millennia, God help you. I think that's an interesting take. I think that is a very interesting thing to say, that everything. Pope Francis believes that climate change is real. People give Catholicism a bad rap. I think that it's all of the Protestants thinking that it's like, well, it's manifest destiny. We need to go and bring our religion over to this area. And then it's just like, you are not making your point very valid now, are you? By being all Protestant and like, I don't believe all of these different things. Like, I don't get it. Protestantism is what creates the people that are flat earthers, that are also Christian. You do not have to associate with those people. You do not have to associate with the people that believe that evolution is not real. Like, first of all, you do not have conclusive enough proof to feel like the world is actually flat, and you do not have conclusive enough proof to prove the fact that, like, I literally just lost my thought. Whatever. Point is, just be nice to one another. Engage in discourse. It's healthy. It's very healthy to engage in some discourse and to feel like you are being heard, and that we can have discussions, we can have discourse, we do not have to have debates. If someone engages in crosstalk, you meet them where they're at. Sometimes it means that you have to yell at them if they're going to start yelling at you. But you find ways to disarm the situation. You find ways to still be able to have a constructive conversation. And sometimes it's where, like, people that are in Christianity of like all denominations, they can say something where like, well, this is the way of how I believe it. This is how I believe it. I know that, like, Jesus is my Lord and Savior. And people do not have to be on the defensive all the time. I had a conversation with a Christian, and they were starting to be defensive about all the different ways about, like, they believe about their religion. And like, yeah, you can believe however you want to believe. I think it's important to have discourse and to talk things through, though. And yeah, I feel like I'm rambling. I feel like I'm rambling. Anyway, if you like this video, hit like on this video. If you dislike this video, leave me a comment, show me how much you dislike this argument, but you have to tell me why you dislike it, okay? That's a stipulation, but then again, that's also like that's a suggestion. I'm not saying like you have to, but I think that it would be a very good idea if you actually engaged in the conversation a little bit and provided your opinions. Subscribe if you'd like more context. Oh my god, I am... Is it cold out? It's cold out. I have the window open and it's rainy. I have my plants on the windowsill. I gotta get some sun, even if there's barely any. Anyway, subscribe if you want to see more content like this one. Anyway, I will go and catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.